Good morning, class, and welcome back to Math 9. Today we should be looking at, I believe it's Lesson 7. Lesson 7. We're still working with rational numbers. We'll be looking at multiplying and dividing this week. Last week we reviewed adding and subtracting. So our first lesson today will be multiplication of rational numbers. So we're looking at a couple rules and examples. One of the things we have to remember is when we multiply a negative number, a negative rational number, with a positive, the answer or product of the two numbers will be negative. And if we multiply a negative by a negative, then the product or the answer is positive. So let's look at an example. Here we have a fraction, negative 7 over 4, to be multiplied by 9 over 2. First thing we need to remember is to multiply the numerators, two numbers at the top. So 7 times 9 is 63, and we have a negative by a positive, so our product will be negative. Then we multiply the denominators, the bottom of the fraction, 4 times 2, and we get 8. So we have a negative 63 over 8. If we divide that, we'll get a answer of 7. So that's going to be negative 7. 7 times 8 is 56. And 63 minus 56 is 7. So our answer will be minus 7 and 7/8. Our second example, we have a negative by a negative. So it's negative 11 over 7 multiplied by negative 21 over 44. So let's multiply the numerators. Top of the fraction, 11 by 21. And a negative by a negative will give us a positive, 231. And if we multiply 7 by 44, we'll get a product of 308. And then we can reduce that. We reduce that number, let me see, 23. If we divide both by 7, we'll get 33 over 44. And then we can divide each of those again by 11. And we reduce it to 3 over 4. Our third example. This time we have a mixed fraction, minus 2 and 5/6. And it's a negative multiplied by negative 3 over 2. So the first thing we do is change this negative 2 and 5 over 6 to improper fractions. So we go 2 times 6 is 12. And we have to add a 5. So that's going to give us negative 17. So we have negative 17, and we have to 17 over 6, and we have a negative 3 over 2. Now we need to get a common denominator, 6 and 2. One of the ways we can do this, we can leave it like this if we want. We can divide it, but let's do it two ways. If we're going to multiply 17 by 3, multiplying the top part, we'll get minus 51. and we multiply 6 by 2, we'll get 12. And then we can reduce that, divide this by 3, divide this by 3. This will give us 17 over 4. Because these things were negative and negative, they became positive. Negative times a negative, we have a negative 17 times a negative 3 gives us negative or positive 51. So we divide both by 3, we get 17 over 4, and then divide 17 by 4, we get 4. 4 times 4, 16, and we're left with 1 quarter. 17 minus 16 is 1, so we got 4 1/4 left. So let's practice. We have minus 2 over 5, that's a negative, multiplied by 20 over 16. So let's multiply the numerators. 2 times 20 is going to be 40, and a negative times a positive will be negative. And we have 5 times 16. 5 times 16 will be 80. So it's minus 40 over 80. We can divide both sides by 10. That'll give us minus 4 over 8. And we can divide both by 4. And that gives us negative 1 over 2. Here, let's change this improper, this mixed fraction to improper first. So we're going to have 5 over 4. And then we're going to multiply these two together. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. Minus 16 over 5. Now we have a positive multiplied by a negative. So our answer is going to be negative 5 times 16 is 80. And 4 times 5 is 20. 80 divided by 20, or 8 divided by 2, is going to be 4. So the answer would be negative 4. Even number of negatives, the answer is positive. If we have more than one number, say we're multiplying 1, 2 numbers by 3 numbers by 4. If the number of numbers that we're multiplying is even, 4, these are 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, then our answer will be positive. If the number of numbers or fractions that we multiply is odd, 1, 2, 3, that's an odd number, then the answer will be negative. When they're even number, 4 is an even number, the answer will be positive. And if the number of units that we're multiplying is odd, the answer will be negative. So 3, 5, 7 numbers multiplied together will give us negative, but 2, 4, 6, 8 numbers multiplied together will be positive. Then we do decimal form. Same rules apply, whether it is whole numbers or whether it's decimal. Here we have a positive number and a negative number. So our answer is going to be negative. And if we multiply 0.8 times 2.4, yeah, 0.8 times 2.4 negative minus 1.92. Here we have 2 negatives. Oops. Okay, I got it. Negative times negative. That means our answer is going to be positive. Now we could look at that and just estimate it. That could be like 1 times 3 would be positive 3. Estimate would be positive 3, but we're going to use our calculator. 1.25. So 1.25, make it negative, times 2.84, negative 3.55. Yeah. So if we round it off to whole number, it would be 4. If you round it off to 1/10, it would be 3.6. Or if we went to a whole number, it would be 4. So if we estimated it, we could get -2, or really it's -1.92. If we estimate it, it would be 3, but it's actually 3.6 at 2.55. And finally, a word problem. On February 5th, 2008, the price of a share in CIBC. CIBC is a bank. So if you bought shares in the bank, you could hold it until the money changed. But here we see that it changed $1, went down $1.64. And the price owns 35 shares. By how much did these shares change in the value that day? Well, we have to take his change, just 1.640, multiply it by the number of shares he has. So we have a negative times a positive. The answer will be negative. So that means that he lost $57.40 in that day because his shares changed by a negative. So the person lost $57.40. Okay. So in your assignment, if you look out, you'll have a handout set, new set 3. You're to complete for tomorrow, just 21 part 5. On page 21, you'll see part 5. Just turn the page, you'll see it. Okay. Part F, I should say. Part F. And then you'll also have pages 127 to 129, and you're to do only numbers 6, 7, 9, 11A and 11D, 12, 14, and 15. Okay, thank you very much. And tomorrow we'll look at division.